Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are plunging headfirst into the grim, extremely dangerous, and absolutely fascinating universe of the Carrion Empire. We're going to unpack the deep mysteries, the warring factions, and those creeping cosmic horrors that make this setting so uniquely terrifying. If you love deep lore and high-stakes survival in the dark void of space, you are definitely in the right place. We've got to begin our journey with this chilling quote. I have stood before the doors of the Black Dream. Now, these are the words of outlaw, pirate, and full-blown cultist Hunin Rollo. It's a simple, terrifying statement, right? But it completely sets the stage for a creeping galactic threat that's basically going to pull every major faction into its orbit. Today, we're going to break down exactly what that means. All right, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We're going to cover the hunt for Hunin Rollo, the emergence of the Void Leviathan, some tricky church law, what happens when you interface with the relic, the terrifying cult of Ash, and finally, our crew's desperate journey into the Ghost Lanes. Okay, Section 1. The Hunt for Hunin Rollo, a bounty gone wrong. So our story really kicks off when Captain Orion Bloodhunter of the Black Sun tracks down Rollo to collect on a massive church bounty. When Orion boards Rollo's ship, the Swift Widow, we see two totally clashing combat philosophies go head-to-head. You've got House Shark Doctrine, which relies on pure, unfiltered aggression. You close fast, deny distance, bite, and rip. Conversely, Rollo uses House Spider tactics. He's relying on drones, poison webbing, lethal traps, and constantly shifting angles. It is a brutal fight, but Orion ultimately uses an energized sawbeam blade to literally chop through Rollo's mechanical six-legged spider rig to take him down. But here's the thing. Capturing Rollo isn't actually the biggest prize. In Rollo's weird, shrine-like quarters, Orion discovers something deeply unsettling. The relic. It's a black metal cube wrapped in this intricate gold thread. But guys, it's not just a box. It pulses with a literal, living warmth. Faint neon shapes of these many-lambed, eyeless entities are just shifting beneath its metallic surface. It feels like it's breathing. And just picking it up? Well, that sets off a massive chain reaction. Which brings us to Section 2. The Void Leviathan emerges, a biological terror. The second that artifact is moved, it acts like a beacon, triggering an impossible cosmic horror event right out in the void of space. This massive Leviathan just rips out of void space. But get this, it isn't a mechanical ship. We're talking about a 3,000-meter living beast with a black carapace and red pulsing veins, traveling without engines. It effortlessly obliterates Rollo's ship using a terrifying biological plasma beam. Orion and his crew barely, and I mean barely, escape with their lives by jumping through the void. It pretty much proves that this relic attracts things way beyond our human comprehension. Moving on to Section 3, Church Law and Loopholes. Standoff at Lone Star. Limping away from that Leviathan encounter, Orion docks at the church's Lone Star station to finally turn in Rollo. But the battlefield immediately shifts from space into this incredibly tense legal and political standoff. The priests, Fathers Dreidel, Rotullo, and Gammon, demand full custody of the relic under ecclesiastical law. But Orion, he brilliantly outmaneuvers them using codex loopholes. He basically asserts that his contract was strictly for Rollo's body, not the guy's cargo. Plus, because he employs a sanctioned Tau engineer, a licensed guild tech, he claims the legal right to analyze the artifact himself. It is an absolute masterclass in using bureaucracy as a shield against zealots. All right, Section 4. Interfacing with the relic, Zen's vision. To actually understand what they've kept, Orion has his sanctioned Tau engineer, Zen, interface with the artifact inside a heavily shielded core chamber. And the neural immersion here is just horrific. First, the physical cube actually folds open into a miniature altar, holding a dark idol. Then, Zen's mind is violently pulled into a simulation of a dead, ash-covered city that defies all known metrics. He's forced toward this massive 200-foot black liquid door, and then an ancient entity speaks directly into Zen's mind, recognizes his name, and says it can taste him. The feedback is so violent, it literally cooks Zen's multi-million credit interface chair and physically burns his neural ports. Just wild. In Zen's vision, there are thousands of skeletons basically carpeting the floor of this black temple, all desperately reaching for those liquid doors. It really leaves us with a terrifying question. What kind of endless hunger is sitting on the other side? Zin somehow manages to extract a star map from the vision before being violently pulled out, and it points to a location far past the known void worlds. That takes us to Section 5, the Cult of Ash, Devotion in the Dark. So, while Orion's crew is reeling from this trauma and decides to temporarily seal the relic, a massive threat is brewing down in the forgotten lower maintenance levels of the Lone Star Station. The Cult of Ash, made up of downtrodden workers oppressed by the church, launches this highly coordinated extraction plan to rescue Rollo. Why? Well, they receive a highly encrypted black channel message from a mysterious, powerful backer known only as Neverlight, declaring that Rollo is the chosen vessel of the Unmaker. Look at their precision here, faking coolant leaks, using zealot cultists to secure choke points, and moving Rollo through vent channels to a dark cutter ship. It's a perfectly orchestrated heist.
But they might not even need to rescue him at all, because simultaneously, up in the church's interrogation room, Father Gammon's brutal torture of Rollo is failing spectacularly. In a fit of rage, Gammon just slices Rollo's throat wide open. But instead of dying, the wound seals itself instantly. Rollo's broken bones literally snap back into place. He looks at these terrified priests, laughs with genuine delight, and calmly claims to be God. It's abundantly clear that whatever Zen saw behind those dark doors is now looking out through Rollo's eyes.
Section 6, Journey to Ghost Lanes, Edge Falls, and Finder. Completely unaware of Raylo's cosmic resurrection, Orion and his crew arrive at the lawless planet of Edge Falls in free space. They're seeking ship repairs and safety, but what they find instead is an explosive ambush. The church has tracked them down, deploying a heavy hit squad. We're talking heavily armored level 5 paladins with plasma mauls and linked shields, backed up by robed torchbearers carrying industrial flamers. Orion's crew, the Tide, they counter it with pure guerrilla tactics. They deploy EMPs to break the paladins' shields and engage in brutal close-quarters combat to exploit the weak points in that heavy armor. During this desperate fight, we get to see a whole new side of Zen. When a paladin charges him with a massive tower shield and spear, Zen doesn't even run. Instead, he steps directly inside the spear line and drives these tiny, thin black pins right into the seams of the paladin's wrists. Instantly, the paladin's hands paralyze open. He drops his weapons, completely defenseless. It proves for sure that Zen is far more dangerous than just some guy sitting in a tech chair. Look at how crazy this timeline escalates. Just hours prior, Zen is pulling a terrifying map from a living artifact. In the present, they are barely surviving a holy hit squad in the rain-soaked streets. And literally minutes later, a local crime boss named Finder, who actually sat and watched the whole street fight happen just to test Orion's worth, picks them up, brings them to his fortified palace, and offers them a job. And here is the job Finder offers them: recover a sealed Golden Age data slate from an ancient underground compound located in the Ghost Lanes. Now, the Ghost Lanes is a sector of space so dangerous and unpredictable that ships regularly vanish without trace. Because of the extreme danger, Finder is offering double the standard rate, half of it up front. For a battered ship like the Black Sun, that is a deal that is just too good to pass up. But of course, there is a massive catch that makes everyone pause. Finder reveals that an anonymous buyer insists on being physically present for the handoff. Let me tell you, in the underworld, requesting to be present at a high-value handoff is a suicidal red flag. It is a near guarantee of a double cross or an ambush. But Orion, desperate to fix his ship and save his crew, takes the job anyway. So we are left with this incredible, explosive convergence. Back on Lone Star, the station is literally shaking from the cult's explosive breach to rescue Rollo, a man who is clearly no longer just a man, but the healed vessel of an ancient cosmic entity. And simultaneously, Orion's wounded ship, carrying a pulsing artifact of the Black Dream, charts a course straight into the darkest, most dangerous sector of known space. Which brings us to the ultimate question you should take away from this explainer. Are Captain Orion and his crew simply sailing toward a much-needed payday, or are they flying directly into the jaws of the Black Dream? With cosmic entities waking up, fanatical cults moving in the shadows, and ancient relics pointing the way into the abyss, survival is looking very, very unlikely. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this leaves you as fascinated by the terrifying universe of the Carrion Empire as I am. See you next time.